Namaskar. I am now going to announce the results of the election for the 15th Vice Presidential election. The polling for the 15th Vice Presidential election 2017, which commenced at 10 a.m. today, the 5th of August 2017, in room number 62, first floor of Parliament House, New Delhi, closed at 5 p.m. Out of the 785 electors, comprising the elected and nominated members of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, 771 electors cast their votes before closure of the poll, that is 5 p.m. The total elector turnout was accordingly 98.2%. Only one ballot box was used for the poll, which was sealed up immediately after the close of poll at 5 p.m. in the presence of the authorized representatives of the contesting candidates and election observers. The counting of votes commenced at 6 p.m. The ballot box was opened in the presence of the candidate, Shri Gopalkrishna, authorized representatives of the contesting candidates, election observers, and counting officers whom I had appointed to assist me in the counting of votes. The ballot papers taken out were first scrutinized. The valid and invalid ballot papers were segregated, and the valid ballot papers were distributed according to the first preference votes secured by each candidate. 771 votes were polled, out of which 760 were valid and 11 were invalid. The quota sufficient to get a candidate elected was determined by dividing the total number of the first preference votes secured by both candidates by 2 and then adding 1 to the quotient. The said quota was 381. As all of you are aware, the value of votes for the presidential election is 1. Shri Venkaiah Naidu M has secured 516 votes as first preference votes, and Shri Gopalkrishna 244 votes. As the first preference vote secured by Shri Venkaiah Naidu M was greater than the requisite quota, I, in my capacity as returning officer, declare Shri Venkaiah Naidu M duly elected to the office of the Vice President of India. Overall, the 15th Vice Presidential election was conducted in a free, fair and orderly manner. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the candidates and their authorized representatives for their cooperation, which facilitated early completion of the proceedings. Thank you. Namaskar.
Big breaking news that's coming in right now. Venkaiah Naidu has been elected as the next Vice President of India and has secured 516 votes as against 244 by Gopalkrishna Gandhi. Let me now first go across. Do we have the BJP and Congress spokespersons with us? If I can. Okay, first let me go across to Khushbu, Congress spokesperson, joining me on this story. Khushbu, it was never an easy battle as far as Congress was concerned. It was always a losing battle for you. But are you disappointed with the margin with which Venkaiah Naidu has won?
No, first and foremost, we would like, from the Congress party, we would like to extend our heartiest congratulations to Venkaiah Naidu ji on winning the Vice President election, and we just hope and pray that he works under the Constitution of India and for the country and not for a particular party. Though Mr. Venkaiah Naidu has said that he is not a party man, we would like to believe that he will stick to his words. We are not disappointed because I think what was important, that we have always been fighting on the lines of democracy and not, the numbers were not very important to us. We had to field the candidate, and we thought Gopalkrishna Gandhi ji was the right person, the right candidate to take it forward. Okay.
Let me first get a quick word from my colleague Brijesh Pandey, who's been tracking these vice presidential elections very, very closely for us. Brijesh Pandey, it was always going to be Venkaiah Naidu, given the fact the numbers were squarely in favour of the NDA. But the fact that it's upwards of 500, that of course really tells the story.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, if you also take into consideration the fact that, 14 people could not cast their vote, and majority of them would have voted for Gopalkrishna Gandhi rather than Venkaiah Naidu, and the fact that 11 other votes were declared invalid. So out of 771, I mean, this is a phenomenal performance, and it would have gladdened the heart of entire BJP and the poll managers of M Venkaiah Naidu, because this is something which they were telling us, but, when they were the original.
Okay, we seem to have lost that line with Brijesh Pandey, and as he was pointing out, this would have really gladdened the hearts of the poll managers of Venkaiah Naidu. Upwards of 516 votes is what Venkaiah Naidu, the NDA nominee, got. He is now the next Vice President of India. Hamid Ansari's tenure ends on the 10th of August, and then of course Venkaiah Naidu's tenure begins. My question, in fact, now to Kalyani Shankar. Kalyani, as we were talking about it, 516 is a huge number that Venkaiah Naidu and the NDA has managed to get. That tells the story as far as the opposition is concerned.
Well, you see, opposition was always weak. But then, the way he's got, Venkaiah Naidu has got invisible friends, which is how it is described when you get unexpected votes. He seems to have got quite a number of invisible friends. Although JDU and BJD this time were supposed to vote for Gopalkrishna Gandhi, even the Congress and the UPA votes, I don't think he seems to have got all of them. So where do these invisible votes come from? That is the thing which we'll know later on only when they analyze the voting pattern. And right now we do not know who had voted, from where it has come. But of course, this completes the BJP's occupying all the top 4 constitutional posts: President, Vice President, Prime Minister and the Lok Sabha Speaker. This is some great journey indeed for the BJP, which was only two seats in Lok Sabha in 1984, and the party was born only in 1980, and now it has reached to this level. So this is amazing. Only yesterday, BJP has overtaken Congress by 1
Kalyani Shankar, hold your thoughts. Kalyani Shankar, hold your thoughts. We're getting a reaction from Ghulam Nabi Azad, leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha. Let's quickly listen into that, and then we'll come back with this discussion.
राजनीतिक दलों का विपक्ष के जिन्होंने एनडीए के खिलाफ वोट दिया, और इस जो कैंडिडेट जॉइंट कैंडिडेट था, ये कांग्रेस का कैंडिडेट नहीं था, ये 17, 18, 19 राजनीतिक दलों में विपक्ष का कैंडिडेट था, उसको वोट देने का प्रयास किया। इसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। और एक चीज इसमें देखने में आई कि हमको विपक्ष का जो पहले कैंडिडेट था राष्ट्रपति पद के लिए, उसको 225 वोट आए थे, और इसमें 244 वोट आए। तो ये अच्छी खुशी की बात है कि वोट घटे नहीं है। सरकार के पूरे प्रयास के बाद भी, यहाँ तक कि उन्होंने हमारी पार्टी के एमपीज को और सभी पार्टी के एमपीज को अप्रोच भी किया था, उसके बावजूद भी हमारे जो संख्या है वो तकरीबन पिछले 20 दिनों में प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्शन के बाद बढ़ी है, तकरीबन 19 वोट घटे नहीं है। बहुत बहुत एमपीज का धन्यवाद, पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब उसकी इंक्वायरी करेंगे, कौन कौन रहा है, एब्सेंट रहा है और क्यों रहा है, उसकी जरूर हम जानकारी सभी दल अपने अपने दल के एमपीज के बारे में।
देखिए, 19 विपक्षी पार्टियों के एमपी,
अब ये बात कर रहे हैं,
19 विपक्षी पार्टियों के एमपीओ ने वोट डाला। उनमें से अगर कुछ ऐसी बात हुई, कोई इनवैलिड हुआ या क्रॉस वोटिंग हुई, वो अपने अपने पार्टियां वो उसके बारे में देखेंगे। लेकिन बात यह है कि पिछले बार प्रेसिडेंट से ज्यादा वोट इस बार हमें विपक्ष को मिले, एंड दिस इज अ पॉलिटिकल फाइट, एज वी ऑलवेज सेड, इज अ फाइट बिटवीन टू पॉलिटिकल ट्रेंड्स, those who want to strengthen the constitutional order in our country. And that is why we put up Shri Gopalkrishna Gandhi. We are very grateful to him to have consented to be a candidate.
Victory, and wish him all the best in his new office of Vice President of all the sections of India. Secondly, I would like to thank all the honourable members of Parliament for having voted for me. I refer to those who have voted for me, and I believe the number that has voted for me is beyond the expectations of certain calculations. I thank all of them very deeply and sincerely. They represent different political persuasions. They come from different parts of India, and they had all come together to vote for what they thought was the national good, which is the affirmation of the right to free thought, to free speech, the right to hold a different opinion, and the duty to serve the cause of pluralism and secularism in India. I thank all of them. I also thank the political parties and the leaders who endorsed the inclination and the indications of the members of Parliament for having nominated and supported. Finally, I would like to say to all the honourable members of Parliament, across the party divides, across the divide of this vote, I would like to say to all of them, honourable ladies and gentlemen, you carry a great responsibility and a great weight on your shoulders, and may you discharge your responsibilities in the tradition of the great parliamentarians of our country with diligence and courage. Above all, with the word of your conscience and the word of the Constitution guiding. अंत में मैं एक और चीज़ कहकर आपसे विदा लेता हूँ, और वो ये है कि इस चुनाव में बहुत बड़ी दो विजय प्राप्त हुई। सबसे पहली स्पष्ट विजय वेंकैया नायडू गारू की, जिनको बहुमत मिला है और जो अब हमारे अगले उपराष्ट्रपति बने, और दूसरी विजय हमारे देश की उस जागरूकता को, हमारी उस देश की उत्सुकता, जिस उत्सुकता और जागरूकता से हमारे देश की स्वायत्त सोच, स्वतंत्र वाणी सुरक्षित रहती है. This is a victory of the ballot. It is also a victory of free speech. And the second victory belongs to all the people of India. इससे ज़्यादा मुझे कोई कहने की आवश्यकता नहीं.
Were you expecting the margin to be this big?
I was expecting a handsome performance by the united vote of the opposition parties and those who have decided to vote in this manner, and I am more than satisfied with what I have got.
Thank you.
हम भी अपनी तरफ से
इनको
बहुत बहुत बधाई देते हैं वेंकैया नायडू जी का, क्योंकि वो चेयरमैन हमारे हाउस के बने, मैं इस लीडर अपोजिशन हूँ, तो इसलिए हमें बहुत आगे रोज काम है एक दूसरे के साथ. मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि जिस तरह से पुराने चेयरमैन ने सभी दलों को, सभी पार्टीज को, सभी एमपीज को मौका दिया.
All right, we've got a power-packed panel to take this story forward, but there is some source-based information that is coming in that we will address first before we go to our panelists. Out of the 516 votes that Venkaiah Naidu got, it's important to note how many were the additional votes, if one were to use that word, he got from non-NDA parties. That really tells the story. Let me now go across to my colleague Ritanshu, who has the details of this invisible friends of Venkaiah Naidu, if we can use that word.
Well, yes, indeed, at this point, Gauri, it does seem that it was quite an invisible support number which
Okay, we seem to have a problem with the audio of Ritanshu. We'll try and fix that at the earliest. I urge my producer to fix that. But the fact of the matter, as Ritanshu was talking about, is that there have been additional votes that Venkaiah Naidu has got, more than what was being calculated by the NDA. Let me first go across to my colleague Jaiseelan, who is outside Venkaiah Naidu's residence, and then we'll come back to this big story that we're tracking and that big source-based information that Ritanshu was talking about. First to Jaiseelan. Jaiseelan, Venkaiah Naidu is the next Vice President of India, and he has, of course, won with a very, very handsome victory margin.
That's right, Gauri. In fact, the NDA was expecting only around 484 votes. That was, inclusive of non-NDA partners like the AIADMK, the TRS and the YRCP. Apart from that, we had the PDP and the AGP as well, which are beyond the pale of the NDA. But then this number, of course, has really surprised many within the BJP and the NDA as well. But all said and done, now that he has won, he is all set to become the 13th Vice President of India, the second BJP Vice President, but a first from the South. So that, of course, is a huge achievement. And this also will be the first time, when an arrangement of this kind will be in place. The President, the Vice President, and the Prime Minister would belong to the same party. This has not happened since 1992. 1992 was the year, when we had Narasimha Rao, Shankar Dayal Sharma, and K.R. Narayanan as the, Prime Minister, President, and Vice President. K.R. Narayanan, of course, was, selected by the Congress, but then, he was not a congressman in that sense. He never grew in the party. He was not an organization man. He was a career diplomat.
Right.
So, but then he subscribed to the Nehruvian ideology, and that was
absolutely,
the last
time, absolutely, Jaiseelan. This is historic. I'll come back to you. This is historic for the BJP, but let's just break those numbers down for our viewers. As we've been talking, the 516 magical number that Venkaiah Naidu has hit is far, far more than even the best of the NDA calculations. Ritanshu, over to you.
Well, thanks indeed, Gauri. Once again, it seems the numbers are not the friends of the Congress, because here's how the maths stand here. 516 votes is what Mr. Venkaiah Naidu polled in. Now, going by the minimum votes which we had calculated, which takes into account the following things. All the constituents of the NDA, right down to parties which have just one MP, like the Sikkim Democratic Front or the Borderland Front, or even the smallest parties, their strengths in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, plus you deduct the few votes which did not come in, such as the 2 BJP MPs who did not voted it. It all comes down to a figure of 478, which means there is a gap, there is a maximum swing of 38, plus 38 votes came in extra. Now, out of these 38, there were 23 going by our calculation votes, which were belonging to independents or small parties which had not yet expressed going towards which party, whether they were going towards Mr. Naidu or towards Gopalkrishna Gandhi. Even if you have to assume that all 23 of them voted for Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, that still leaves us with a mystery figure of at least about 15 people who seem to have cross-voted here. Now, the biggest question which comes in is, did the JDU actually decide to vote for Mr. Venkaiah Naidu? Because although they had committed support to Mr. Gopalkrishna Gandhi, a lot happened after that, and they officially became partners of the NDA in Bihar here. But even then, the JDU has 12 members there, 10 in the Rajya Sabha and 2 in the Lok Sabha. So there are some people definitely who seem to have cross-voted. Where they are from is the big question.
Where they are from is the big question, Ritanshu, but as you were telling, as Ritanshu was talking about those numbers, this should really cause a lot of sleepless nights to Congress. And let me take that question first to Khushbu, and then we'll bring in Aman Sinha and Sunil Singh as well into the discussion. Khushbu, my question to you, as Ritanshu was pointing out, there is cross-voting that has happened in this vice presidential elections as well, like it did in the presidential election, in favor of the NDA, against the Congress alliance, so to say, and that should worry the Congress.
No, it definitely does not worry us. We are going to look into it. If there's been a cross vote, we will look into it. But it does not worry us, because we saw Ghulam Nabi Saab talking about it just after the election results were announced, that we have from the president election to the vice president election, we have 19 votes more. So it's not that we have lost out on it, we have gained it. So we would like to look it into the other way. Rather than saying that Congress has lost it, we would like to say that we have gained 19 votes. The rest of the 13 votes which have been cross-voting, that we need to understand, like one of your, Mr. Amit was pointing out, that probably JDU last minute decided to vote for Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, despite saying that he will be supporting, their party will be supporting Mr. Gopalkrishna Gandhi. So there could be the votes would have gone there, but
all right, as that was, of course, Congress's Khushbu, not giving any clear indications as to how perturbed the Congress party is concerned. But the fact of the matter is, as we've been pointing out, at least 15 mystery votes have come in favor of Venkaiah Naidu, and that really tells the story. The cross-voting that has happened in the vice presidential elections. In fact, let's